Now, by default, EVNext's ray tracing is using screen trace ray tracing, which basically means that everything within our screen space bounds is being ray traced. And that also means that everything outside of our camera bounds or outside of our screen space is not being ray traced, which is fine, generally speaking, but in some cases it could be beneficial to have bake down lighting because it's a little bit more efficient in some scenarios. So over here in Blender, we have a pretty default scene going on, and there's this red monkey head and there's this cube, and the default EV settings look not that great, right? We don't get any global illumination, we don't get any bounce lighting at all. But if we enable ray tracing, immediately you're seeing, okay, we're getting this nice global illumination on the sides here, as well as here, and we're getting some pretty decent bounce lighting in the shadows of this monkey head here. We can change this to be light probes instead of screen trace. So the light probe is a different method which we can use to get some of that ray tracing going only in certain places within our scene. By simply switching over to the light probe, you'll notice that basically all of our ray tracing disappears, and that's because we don't have any light probes within our scene. So if we then do Shift A, light probe, and we choose, for example, the sphere light probe, we can simply move this around to get ray tracing in certain parts. So maybe we want ray tracing here, but we only want ray tracing on this part of the monkey head and not anywhere else. I don't know why you would want that in this scenario, but it kind of shows you the flexibility of this method. By now using light probes instead of screen tracing, you get ray tracing only in the parts where you want it and more flexibility in that regard. Again, this is something you might not need in most scenarios, but it's good to know it exists, and I wanted to show you how to achieve the light probe ray tracing if you want to have it. The major downside with light probe ray tracing is that it kind of lacks some of that quality that the screen space ray tracing has. So screen trace ray tracing, way better bounce lighting than, for example, in a light probe ray tracing. It's still there. There's still some red glow. However, the quality is just less visible than it was for the screen trace ray tracing. So that wraps up how to use light probe ray tracing. And in the next lesson for this chapter, we're going to cover what you should do if your PC is sadly not able to handle Blender 4.2 and you can't access that amazing ray tracing.